Hello everyone, welcome back to the next step of our Morgana project. Now if you've been following this, I've already shown you how to make the entire base for your album, but I did say that I'd come back and I'd show you ways of decorating the album and each of the pages. So as part of the Morgana kit, I have prepared step by step, page by page PDF, which you can get through Cool Katz Crafts by messaging them on Facebook or emailing them. I'll add all the details below. Or if you join Paper Crafting with Paul, again, link below, which is my Facebook group. If you head to the file section, you will find then these PDFs so that you can print off and keep. So this is step one or video one of the decorating process. So we're going to be doing the front cover and the inside cover and page one, because page one is quite an easy page to do, but it is actually part of the cover as well because of the front aperture. So what I've done, I'd done page one, but I've done the other 3 pages as well. And what I've done is marked each of them with the number, page number it is, and the direction, because when you come to numbers like 8 and 6 and 9, they can go the other way around. So a little arrow pointing up. That's a little tip from Kay and Maggie, which I often use now. So I only need page 1. And as I said in the last video, I'm going to be using Make a Splash. So the first thing I'm going to consider is what I'm going to put on page 1. So you tend to open it up, and whatever is my first page, that tends to be like a cover page, which will go nicely inside. So I'm going to be using that. And then I want to find a non-directional page if I can. So that is a good one. That could be a good one because the bubbles can go all the way around. Because to make the most of my paper, I'm going to be cutting out 8 by 1 inch strips. So if I can then take them around, I don't need to use 2 sheets by going across and 2 sheets of coming down. So that would be quite a nice one. Although there is another way of doing it, which I did on the Enchanted Forest version. Now the Enchanted Forest version came with a nice border. So what I did for that one was, I cut it down to 8 by 8. Put each side into my trimmer, so I had 1 inch down the side. Start at 1 inch, cut, and go down to 7 inch, and went all the way around. That is using a lot more paper, but for this one, it meant I was able to keep that. I will show you today the mitered version for it, which means you can cover the front and back using just 1 sheet. So I quite like that one because it's non-directional. We can have the seaweed going all the way around. Not sure how it's going to look at the miters, but the back is also non-directional. So I might go for this because I've got 2 options to go with and see which one works best. Okay, so page 1 is just a nice deep pocket, nothing else on it, because as I said, you want the image to show because you're going to see it through the cover aperture. So let's have a look at what we need to do. Let's put page 1 to the side and get some of my black cardstock. Okay, so this is an easy one to get started because we can see the page through the window of the cover. We're going to make a large pocket. Let's go to the guide here. So pocket 1, P1 is pocket 1, is 7.5 by 8 3/4. So that means I do need to cut the 8 3/4 first, because it wouldn't have fitted the other way around, by 7.5. So I'll also explain to you what all my abbreviations mean. So P tends to be pocket. You'll see F for flaps coming up later on. And then OT will stand for on top. So that's what's on top of my scoreboard. Now, by moving things, I've also moved my scoring pen. There we are. Right. So it says 8 3/4 on the top. I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. And then 7.5 on top. I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. I think I will need to change this. I think I need to change that. It's 8 3/4 needs to be the rotate one. So you scored half. Rotate means turn it around 180. And half again. So half, rotate, half just means you do half, you rotate it around, and you do half on the opposite sides. So that should give me a 7 3/4 pocket, yes. So I do need to change that, needs to go there. Like I spotted that today. So this is the only cardstock piece we've got on this one. So we've got 2 1/2 inches down the side and 1/2 inch across the bottom. So I'm just going to put tape inside those sections, not on top of the score lines. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to fold and things. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is just snip off the corners. So here we've got our 2 score lines intersecting. So I'm going to cut like a 45-degree sort of angle towards it. If I carry on straight, when these 2 corners of flaps fold over, they may meet. So when I get to my cross, I'm just going to turn my scissors a bit to the left and cut away. So it's not a straight line. You can see it's like an arrowhead. It's just a slight difference, but that just means when they fold over, they're not going to, show you on, they're not going to meet and create extra bulk for us. And again, same. So up to the cross, angle the scissors and cut off. And now we're going to fold them back. And press them down. And then just, I think I've lost all my tools. So when I reset, I think I moved everything. Just trying to find my Teflon. Oh, it's on there. It was on the pages. I'm just going to use my Teflon tool. Again, a Cool Katz Crafts tool. I think it's one of their most popular items. I think everybody loves the one because you can burnish and press down as much as you want, and it's not going to leave those horrible silvery marks. So it's just one big, deep pocket. That is all we're going to do on page 1. So let's bring page 1 in. And I'm going to fold back a couple of pieces on the bottom of the pocket. Line it up with the 2 bottom corners. Now, because I haven't exposed the tape in the center, I can still move it around until I'm happy and then press down on the 2 bottom corners. Pull it out and squeeze it down. And then you can just stick down the 2 sides as well. But what you find is when you drop your photo mats and things in, it will catch on that little tab. And I said I'd be using more of this black tape, which comes in the kit, as we go through for some extra tips and things. By putting that black tape there, it sort of creates a little ramp. So it'll come down and just run over that flap and not catch behind. Because that tape is tearable, you know, it's really quick to do. And then we're just going to attach the two sides. So I'm keeping my hand on it to keep it all nice and flat. There we go. And that is page 1. Already done. Nothing more to it. So we can now start the exciting bit and start decorating. Oh, that's not the pages I put aside. These are the ones I put aside. So where should we start? Should we start with page 1 or the cover? Let's do page 1 first, and then we can choose which of the papers we want to go with it. So, we don't need the acetate, we just need page 1. So I like to go down 1/4 inch. So my pages are 7 3/4, which means I would need to take 1/4 inch off if I wanted to mat it perfectly, or 7 1/2 is what we do for the black border. So to make it 7 1/2, I need to take 1/2 inch off 2 sides. Or if you want to keep your image quite central, you need to take 1/4 inch off each side. Hope that makes sense. Because if you took it off 1/2 inch off, it's going to move off to the right or off to the left, depending on which side you do, and up and down. But if you want to keep the middle in the middle, 1/4 inch off each. So let's have a look at what we want to keep here. Do we want to move it down to the left, or up and left, or down and right? Or do we want to keep it central? Let's have a look with our... Okay. So an 8x8 would be there. Make a Splash does appear, but maybe we want to bring it down so she appears. So I'd want to take off from the bottom and maybe move it to the left a bit, to the right a bit, which means I want to take off from here. So I'm going to take 1/2 inch off the right. So lining it at 7 1/2. I'm going to take off the top. And then 7 1/2 again for the bottom. That's actually giving me quite a nice little border for one of my photo mats later. So that is now our page 1 paper. And then when we put it in, you can see she appears, Make a Splash appears. So I think those were wise choices. I'm going to use this whole sheet to mat and layer it all. So I'm going to place that there. And here is where my pocket is. Now, I don't want too much of a black line for this one. So what I'm going to do, instead of measuring, I'm just going to take those pencil lines I've just made. Oh, there we are. Here's one. And I'm just going to slide it a little bit more. So we've got a little bit of this to tuck under the pocket. Yeah, so I've lined this up at, so there's 1/2, 5/8. Yeah, so just over 5/8. And what we'll have is this piece will go there, and it'll go almost to the top of the pocket. And then this bit is going to tuck inside, and you're just going to have that little black piece of card just to show that there is a pocket there, but not too much to distract from the pattern. And before I stick it down, another optional thing you can do is just take some distress ink and get rid of that white core from when you slice and cut your papers, because on the black it does show up a bit more. So I always attach the pocket piece first, because then I can align the top strip with that bit then. So I'm just using my Cosmic Shimmer glue. You can use your tape guns, your double-sided tape, whatever you want, your preferred. And the little strip. So I said I haven't put too much on this because in effect this is the cover. So I've kept it quite plain, but I will do a photo mat to go inside. So I'll do that in the finishing touches at the end, but you'll see, I haven't put it back in. You won't see it now, but there was a nice big photo mat which you can take out in here. Let's just straighten that out. So that is page 1 done. And that would then just slot onto that first hinge. And you can see then the page through. So the reason the pocket is so high is you don't want that black line showing here. Okay. So now let's go on to the cover. Now the cover cutting is nice and easy. We're just going to cut 1-inch strips. Here it is. So I'm going to cut it at 8 inches first, just cut off. So this pattern is called Ocean Dance. And I think, yeah, I would have them go in that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you're going to have the same, use the same paper from the inside and the outside of this cover, you can just keep going. And then the last one. So no tricky cutting here. So let's have a look at which one we prefer. Let's put our album flat. Do we prefer using the seaweedy one? So that does look quite nice. Or the blue. I quite like both. But I think I'm going to go for that side, just because it's a little bit plainer, which takes your eye towards the central bit. So let's put them aside. Yeah, let's go for that. We can also use that on the inside then. Instead, so we'll use one of each. Okay. So I'm going to take 2 of my strips and I'm going to ink them. And what I'm going to do is glue these on the left and right hand side of my cover. I'm not going to do the other 2 yet. I'll be doing them later, which you'll see why. So let's bring back the cover. So it's much easier to do this before you've added the pages in. So I'm going to line this now, trying to make it nice and equal down the middle and top and bottom. So there's 1. And 2. just going to take my Teflon tool just to iron. So this then also spreads the glue beneath the paper, giving you a bit more adhesion. And then the other two are going to go top and bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place them where they would go. And where the upright paper comes, I'm just going to mark a lot of sort of diagonal towards where I'm going to be going, towards the corners. So this is called a faux miter because I haven't mitered the bottom. I'm literally just going to cut from this corner to that pencil line, like so. And now I'm going to ink it, and I'm going to ink these diagonals with quite a bit of ink. I think this is my old one. I did bring both because I couldn't. Here we are, that's a bit blacker. And then just the edges. So that black on the corners, on that diagonal, is just going to highlight that we've got this mitre. And because we've measured it to the paper we've stuck down, it'll give us this perfect little mitre. Like so. It's a nice, easy way of just using 1-inch strips to cover. So we're going to do the same on the bottom, just line it up. From this corner, it's going to go diagonally that way and diagonally that way. And I'm just going to cut it. And like you can see, you could do a pencil line and get them nice and straight, but I just go by eye. And again, just glue it down. There it goes. And then that is the front already done. And you could just highlight the mitres even more if you wanted to with a black pen. But I'm just leave it as it is there. So it's like a little picture frame. Now on my Stamperia Songs of the Sea one, I actually stuck the front ones onto the acetate on the front. This time, I'm going to do it on the back. So we've got a bit of depth between the front and the acetate. So let's have a look at how we do that. It's going to be exactly the same, but we're going to do it onto the acetate itself. So the acetate is 8 by 8. And this is probably the hardest part of the whole album. Is taking off this blue. I should have taken off the white one and I would have had the blue showing. Right, we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to do 2 of these pieces, and this time we're going to use the seaweed side. Because it is going to be the opposite side to the seaweed, to the page 1 image. And another one. So glue and acetate don't go too well together. So this time I'm going to be using my sticky paws. So I've done inked 2. Let me keep those 2 out of the way. And bring in my sticky paws. So I'm just going to attach some tape to the back of these 2. Now, I'm going to be honest, this one you're going to have to be careful. You do tend to only get the one little go on it, so I'm going to take back the top and bottom and then take back the back in here. And what we're going to do is attach this to the edge of acetate. And then take it off. And take it off. So make sure you have taken off that film before you do this bit. And do the other side as well. So make sure you put this on the opposite side. So we've done the two sides, and exactly as we did before, we're just going to line this up. And because it's 8 inches, I only need to do one little mark. If you're using the 12 by 12 papers, you would also just mark the top and then draw a line. So there's one. And so this is the top one. It's a nice dark diagonal, and then just lightly down the edges. And again, we're going to attach tape to this. So I'm going to do it just a bit longer on the left here. And when I trim this off, I'm going to throw that little bit away. But this angle then should match one of your other angles, so I can get tape right up to the edge. And again, just go a bit longer and trim off. Oh, I've taken it all off. I'm going to have to just go for it this time then. So float it. Go. It worked out in the end, and repeat on the last one. Diagonal and diagonal. Chop off. And chop off. And then again, I'm using that diagonal cut I did. It should fit into there to get maximum coverage. And again on the bottom. I'm just going to fold back some of the tape this time, so I'm not taking as much of a risk. And this one's going here. So because I've used a non-directional, it doesn't matter so much. There we go. So that then is our acetate portion covered. So now it's time to take off the backing. And again, I'm going to use double-sided tape. And we're going to tape where our paper, our decorative paper is. So we've gone around the outside, but I'm also going to do the inside. going to burnish it down well. We'll do it off on the other side. So everything in this kit has been worked out ready for you. As I said, making nice easy measurements with the 8x, but also this is going to fit perfectly on our cover. So let's bring it back in. And we're just going to line it. So I'm going to hover until I'm happy and drop it. Here it is. There we go. And so there we have our cover done. And then at the end, I'm going to see what I got left over for the spine and for the back. So I probably will try and match that, but I can probably use something a little bit different. Probably something like this, same sort of colorway, just to finish off the back. Like so. But as I said, I might want to use this, and on the back I tend to just use what I've got left over, so we will wait for that. So that then is page 1 and the cover ready made. So let's have a look. I'm not going to glue it down because that's going to come at the end, because I still got to decorate page 2. Am I trying to put page 2 in or something? There we go. So when it closes, that is how our album is going to look. With our mermaids that make a splash, we can add some little gems. I actually used some brown gems on this one, just as sort of rivets to tie in with that masculine theme. But it's up to you. You can, if you've got fussy cut elements you want to put on the front, you can go for that now. Also some glossy accents which may just appear, especially on the pearls and things like that, and on the seahorse and the fish. So thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the first part of the decorating, and next time when you come back we'll move on to page 2. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, and then you will be notified when the next page tutorial goes up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again in the next one.